Good evening, Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. और बहुत बहुत जश्न आज़ादी मुबारक. We are absolutely extremely glad कि हम एक आज़ाद मुमलिकत में रहते हैं और हमारे पास तरक्की करने की आज़ादी है. With that, I want to introduce our very esteemed guest today. Miss Sàmiya Khaliq is a very young professional. और उनको देख के मुझे अपना आप बहुत ज़्यादा बुरा लगने लगा है. But at a very young age, she's achieved a lot. Just so everyone here knows, today we're going to be talking about what are research internships, why must someone do a research internship when they are in undergrad, and also what are the implications of having done a research internship and what are the different doorways it's going to open for you. Before we step into that, I am extremely sorry for how nasal I sound. It's just allergies. With that, Samiya, I would really like you to introduce yourself, please, for our live audiences.
Hi everyone, this is Sàmiya Khaliq. Happy Independence Day first. This is Sàmiya Khaliq. Apparently, I am doing electrical engineering in NUST, PNEC. And here in University of Buffalo, I am doing my research in MDI department, that is Material Design and Innovation.
So, let's first backtrack a little bit. आप PNEC NUST कराची से हो और अब आप electrical engineering कर रहे हो, right? I know that Karachi in Pakistan is like a metropolitan city. I come from there, so I know that. But I also would like to step into your 18-year-old mind a little bit and tell me कि ऐसी क्या चीज हुई which motivated you towards electrical engineering or engineering per se.
First of all, my dad is an engineer. So बचपन से उन्हें देखते हुए कि how he works, how he fixes everything in the house, वहाँ से लेके he works in power generation. तो वहाँ से inspiration आई कि why not? And then when I could see कि engineering में basically if you are doing something theoretically, you could actually practice it experimentally as well. This fascinates me a lot, that if I'm looking up to something, I'll have final results with me as well. So this forced me to, and why electrical is because everybody says it's tough, so why not?
जबरदस्त. सबसे ज़्यादा मुश्किल चीज होगी वही करेंगे हम, क्योंकि why not? Absolutely. So tell me, how has NUST been so far? How has the electrical engineering or just engineering education profile been so far?
I mean, education is improving anyways, but still Pakistan is, it's a long journey, but we are progressing, hopefully, because like we still lack some research labs, and like even if there are some labs, we lack all the facilities and updated softwares, I must say, because the world is far ahead in while working with software and we are still stuck with hardware stuff. So I think that should be really worked on.
So, wait, you mentioned that labs, they do exist, but there is a certain amount of improvement that needs to be done to bring everything at par with the world. And I assume that is the perspective you get once you have engaged in research elsewhere in the world as well. So I would like to now bring you to what we are actually going to focus on throughout this webinar as well. Firstly, what made you interested in research?
Because like every other department has their own significance, but research itself is something, it's changing every single day, and you have to keep on being updated towards everything to keep up with the world. So this is what encouraged me, like let's just, and like I'm a person is someone who looks up to new things every day. So this is why I went for research.
What do you mean look up to new things every day?
Because like progress is...
Elaborate.
Yeah, sorry. Looking up to new things in like, even if it's a single stuff that I'm doing, if I'm working on a software, I would just not stick into that software. I would like to go ahead and look for other options, like should I just do this with this software, or there are other options to do with that, and research itself gives you a very good platform for this.
So you need to have a certain amount of curiosity in your mind, and also you need to be a lot of people get offended when I say that, but I feel like you need to be a little lazy to be good in research, because if you are lazy, you will find out better ways to optimize an otherwise very laborious process. Do you agree to that?
Also very patient.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Like
That
there's
goes
so
with the
many
territory.
moments when you are like, I'm done with this, but you have to keep pushing.
So I agree. I absolutely agree. Tell me, Samiya, आप State University of New York में हो इस वक्त, and you're doing a research internship. Um, how did that come about?
I already made up my mind because I'm curious enough to look forward to because like हमारे students में होता है कि हम 4 साल गुजार लेते हैं and we are still not sure what we are good at. So I think मैंने अपने 3 साल लगाए to see which department I am more comfortable in and what I want to pursue ahead in future, and that was R&D. So I decided that after my 3rd year of engineering, I'm definitely going for a research internship to just begin the journey. So this is why I started like applying to different universities, and the State University of New York gave me the opportunity.
That's really good. You mentioned कि आप देखना चाहते थे कि what are something that you mentioned right now really struck with me as well. Well, because when I was in undergrad, I never thought of this. I thought कि बस अच्छा ये एक ही route है, इसी पे नाक की सीट में चलते रहना है, and don't look here and there, and let's just graduate first, and then we'll see what the opportunities open up. But you bring a very fresh, very new perspective. कि why not look at what you're good at, as you mentioned? What made you think of it that way? Were there any like extracurricular things you were doing that inspired you to look into this?
That's exactly what I was about to say, because NUST is at least good in this way that they have so many societies within the university, and once you step into the university, they're like they start inducting freshmen into these societies, and then they judge your the skills what you already have, and then they decide that whichever department they are going to put you in. So this is how I realized that, oh, marketing is this, finance is that, administration is this. So this was a very good thing that happened to me, because like this is why as for now I know that which department I'm supposed to be in and which not as well.
Sahi. So, but what about research then? How do you, let me put this question properly. Where is the crossroads of research and like things that are extra education, meaning that they are extracurricular? Where do you think is the common denominator between these two things?
Sorry, I don't.
So देखो, मैं जो पूछना चाह रही हूँ ये बात है कि okay, you're doing research, you need to be self-disciplined, right? You need to be patient, like you mentioned. Do you think you borrow some of these essential qualities from all the experience you've had in extracurricular activities?
Once you engage in public dealings, it comes within itself. Like it teaches you that how to interact with people, how to maintain your own profile while having all those stresses of the society. And it's a long journey, and I think every student, undergraduate student, should take part in this thing, because then it not only just helps you decide what you want to do in life, but also it helps you motivate that you can do better.
So Samiya, थोड़ा सा बताओ कि आप जो यहाँ पे materials design and innovation department में, what is it that you are researching on? Maybe do not go into too much into specifics because that may eat up all of our time, but just give us like a high level overview of what is it you're doing.
So materials department, of course, it's about materials. So I'm working on this specific material known as perovskites. It's a material that works, that gives different properties that it has at high temperature. So it allows you to use it in fuels, in different materials to help with power efficiencies. It has long lifespan. So I'm particularly digging into this material, that what else can we get out of this material. So briefly, this is it.
And you mentioned, okay, so now I'm confused. Where does electrical engineering cross paths with this?
So my job is, I'm dealing with the AI part of this. So my job was to design a code that helps, because we are working on a software that allows you to get the properties of this material. So my code will replace the software, and it will by running the software will get all the results that you are getting with that software.
Right. So
this is where I come in.
So, okay, that's very interesting. So basically you are firsthand witnessing the intersection of a lot of different disciplines, right? Not just the programming and the software background that you learned within your undergrad in electrical engineering, but also where you can get new tools within the digital arena, such as AI and machine learning and things of that sort. That's very interesting. मुझे ये बात बताओ कि how did you okay, so I'm really inspired, by the way, right now. Let me tell you that when I was in my undergrad, I didn't think of all of these things, and very honestly.
It's thanks to one of my friend Bilal, because he was always pushing me to learn the machine learning course on EDX and Coursera. We are always like, we will do the online courses later, but he was always pushing me. And when I came here, and they were like, you have to go decide whichever clustering you gotta use, and I knew that it's k-mean clustering. So that was the moment that it helped, that like the long so many hours online courses finally helped.
Well, shout out to Bilal. Thank you so much for helping out. Acha, mujhe batao कि guide us through a little bit through your application process for this.
Okay, so first of all the universities have these summer forms on their website. You just have to look for it.
Are you talking about US universities or universities across the globe, like good universities?
I just went for US universities, so I think we should stick to US.
Okay,
I don't know about others. Because like all of the university that applied, they had these forms in which you generally apply that you are interested, and then they forward your application to the professors, and if they have vacancy or if they are looking for an intern, they will contact their administration, and then they will contact you.
Okay.
So I filled the form, and then I waited for the email. Then finally one of the person contacted me that you gotta tell us that which fields you are interested in, because we students make general CVs and general emails and then forward it to everyone, which is totally wrong. Because like some of the professors are like, they look for students who are passionate about their working. So one of the things is, before you email to any professor or you are applying anywhere, go look up to their labs and look what they are doing. I know we won't be able to understand everything, but if you know what they're doing and then you try to stay relevant and show enthusiasm in that thing, of course they're going to be like, oh, this is just an undergraduate and she's interested in my work, so why not?
How do you express that enthusiasm in an email?
Yeah, because I looked up to his thing, and I was like, I am already, my final year project is related to machine learning, and I'm already working on it, so I would like you to help me out with this, and I think together we can help each other. And this is what, even when I came here, he mentioned that I saw that in the thing, and in the email, and so yeah, it was one of the strong factors for getting me here.
So to everyone who's interested in applying, Samiya mentioned a very crucial point. First, look up the background of whoever, even for people applying for PhDs abroad, know what the lab is doing, know what the professor is doing. Do not send people bulk emails. The people on the receiving end get those every single day in thousands, so they know when to spot someone. One very important thing that Samiya just mentioned, and I'm just going to paraphrase it, is find common grounds. Find common grounds with what you are doing and what they are doing, and that is the connection that you're looking for. Why would a professor approach you if you're doing absolutely nothing relevant to what they are interested in? So think about it that way. Step into the professors or like any employer's shoes as well. Goes for employment emails as well. Go ahead. What happened next after the email went through? The professor was appreciative.
No, first the administration was like, you have to stay relevant to these topics. I cannot just be general that I am interested in electronics, power, everything.
Okay.
You have to be specific. Then I told them that AI is something that I'm really looking forward to. Then the professor comes in because like he wanted an intern in the to work in the same topic.
I see.
So this is when things started working.
But does that mean that everyone should start writing AI and machine learning even if they don't know what that is?
No, because like I looked up to his lab, and NDI lab required someone. It wasn't mentioned, but their formal target was AI, because in material engineering everybody knows that most of the engineers are chemical and some other rather than electrical.
Right.
So this was their lacking. When I went there were so many things that they didn't know. They weren't aware of stuff that I already knew before in my undergraduate. So you have to look up to the new projects they are working on and where do you fit in.
I see. ठीक है, जबरदस्त. अच्छा, let's say that you got the internship, right? Now comes the part that you're sitting in Pakistan thinking, ab kya karoon? Next step kya hai? So what happens next?
Yeah, so I do plan a lot, but like not that much that I have to do this and that. So I'm gonna keep my options open. And first of all, like it never happens that if you are going for, it's just a myth that if you are going for a research internship, your next step is master's, PhD, and then education. There are so many multinational companies that are looking for R&D employees, and because even it's so much competition out there that even the companies are looking for new products every day, and they want researchers to be there. So it's a very important role. So I'm gonna look for the jobs in R&D, and at the same time I'm gonna keep looking for master's scholarships.
Acha. Okay, but let's just backtrack a little bit. I want you to maybe relive that moment when you saw that email and said, okay, I'm going to SUNY. And till the moment that you made here, were there any like pitfalls? Are there any things that so for example, money transfer issues or just issues about, okay, time gap?
Yeah.
When do you phone the university to ask if you're confused about something? How was that journey?
It was quite a tough journey because, like, unfortunately, our country is not progressed in that way. There were so many transaction issues. Western Union is not very helpful. So, like, it's very helpful if you have someone who is already in US, because it just helps a lot. They are gonna do half the task for you. But if you don't have anyone in US, then there's some long forms that you have to fill, and you have to be careful because bank transactions takes like weeks in Pakistan. So you have to be very careful that if you wanna submit a fees, just do it right away. Don't wait, because like the banks are they will require passport and CNIC copies, this and that. They'll keep asking for stuff. So I think everything is possible, but just there's a lot of paperwork if you are doing it through Pakistani banks.
So just be well prepared, well in advance, क्योंकि अगर आप last moment पे जाएंगे तो yeah, you may not end up getting what you were looking for,
yes.
Right? How was so I remember you being super scared for the visa interview. How was that?
It was.
And what are the different myths associated with that? Let's just talk about this a little bit as well.
Sure, because like everybody that I asked beforehand, they were like, they're gonna just reject you right away or accept you right away. So it's like, give me some time to at least defend myself. But it was exactly that.
Okay.
I mean, I waited for like an hour, so I was already very drained. because once you're there, you're super excited for the interview, but then you gotta wait in the scorching heat of Karachi. So you're like, and then inside the office, it's amazing because they have 4 offices consecutively, and there's a line behind you. So 4 people go for interview at the same time, and everybody could hear what the person is saying and you are saying. So this is where stage confidence comes in, because like you have a long line listening to whatever you're saying, embarrassing or not.
Okay.
And then, but if my this is what I did. I was just like looking into the interviewer, and I was like, he's just there. Nobody is behind me. I have to answer him, because like this is gonna be the moment where if I got rejected, these people are not gonna help me anyway. So this is what I did. I just kept looking into the interviewer and kept answering him. So
So here's what I've heard and experienced as well. As long as you have a complete application, as long as you're not lying on anything, because once again, they're very experienced right there, so they can spot out if you have some missing information, or if you have something that looks a little spooky. As long as you're not doing that, they don't have any grounds to reject your application, especially if you're coming to this country to pursue education. So make sure that your application is very robust, very complete. Make sure that you're not like hinting at things about, okay, for example, a lot of people come to different countries and then don't plan on going back, especially if they're on an exchange visa. Make sure you clarify that. Make sure you show them that, no, I have 1 more year left in my undergraduate degree. I will go back. No, I have a job back home. No, I have a family back home. I will go back. Just make sure that you take away the doubts that they may have about you, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I know we are all enthusiastic, like, let's go to do graduate studies in US, let's find a job in US. Like, everybody wants that, why not? But you don't have to express it at this point, because like you are just going there for your research and come back. You gotta keep your dreams within yourself for that moment.
Well, I would say keep also think about, keep your like tangible dreams nearby, sure, but things that are like so far ahead in the future, what's the point of discussing those with things that may or may not happen in the bigger picture anyway? So Samiya, thoda sa let's talk about how has this research internship groomed you?
It has groomed me a lot, because once I came here, I was thinking that maybe someone would sit with me and they will start teaching me stuff, and then they will expect things out of me. But it doesn't work like that. They expect your skills rather than teaching you. So you gotta be prepared for everything. And like, one more thing, just be honest. If you don't know anything, just say yes or no, and don't be like, I could figure things out. That the things we do in undergraduate, it doesn't work like that. So I was just straight up honest. If I knew things, I was like, yeah, I know this. If I don't, then I was like, no, this, I haven't even heard of this. So they hint you to the links where you could find the relevant stuff, and then it is up to you that you have to research about it, and this is what we are here for.
Yeah, well, right, from an internship point of view, yeah, somebody could hint you, okay, how about you look into that as well? But on a bigger picture in research, Samiya is very right. Koi bhi aapko, nobody's gonna give you like spoon feeding on anything. Take it from me, from having pursued a PhD, there comes a time when you don't feel any shame in saying, I don't know, mujhe nahi aata, nahi aata. So tell me, please, someone guide me, for God's sake.
In the first week, I was like, I think I can figure this out, but in the 7th week, I'm like, no.
So it's okay. It's okay to admit that aapko nahi aata, because we're all on the path of learning. And exactly, and research इसी का नाम है. Research का मतलब होता है you're finding something that did not exist before. अगर उसका आपको पहले ही पता था कि हाँ ये करूँगा तो ये चीज़ हो जाएगी, so that's not research, that's not following steps. Which is why everyone stepping into research should realize that you're stepping into this to make a contribution to the field, whatever field you've stepped into. And that may or may not end up as you wished it to be. We often look into the experience of people like um, Newton and Edison, people who had to go through thousands of things that didn't work and then find one thing that did work. It is, like Samiya mentioned previously, takes a lot of patience, right?
Yeah.
So
Even if writing emails to professor, it's not just they're gonna reply you right away. Sometimes take months or weeks, and just gotta have some patience and pray that hopefully any of the professor reply. But once they do, you're good to go.
yeah, so keep at it, keep trying. It's amazingly inspiring to me to see Sanya sit here, having achieved so much at such a young age. देखो, अगर आपने अभी से research internship करी तो I can only imagine how much, mashallah, inshallah, you're gonna achieve as we see you grow. I've seen you grow since you became part of Women Engineers Pakistan. I've seen you achieve a lot. I've seen the changes in how you communicate as well. So I hope, because I see that you've groomed yourself as a person into a professional, right? And I would like you to maybe talk about a little bit of change that personally has come within you when you first stepped into the US and were able to engage in like a global atmosphere where people from all these different cultures were present as well, and also once you stepped into research.
Yeah, before I talk about that, I would like to tell, like, especially women out there, that Women Engineers Pakistan has provided me such a great platform, because not only like conducting these seminars to encourage women in the STEM, it's such a great, you get to know so many great people that they help you not only with your small letters, emails, they're going to guide you, because like if there's a platform, they have already been through everything that you are looking for, so you already have mentors here. So I think even this platform has provided me people that I can just straight up go and ask that I want to write this email, or I want to be part of this program, and they are just there to guide me. So this is one of the benefits that I have, I must say. And I think every girl, at least undergraduate girl, should be part of this, because like once you are there encouraging another woman to step up, then you gotta step up your game.
Absolutely. Also, this is what we term at Women Engineers Pakistan as the power of the network, because now you're no longer one person, you are an entire country, you're an entire network spreading from, and I'm sure you made friends with people not from just Karachi, but all the way across the country in WEP as well. Thank you for the appreciation, because you are like a live return on my my investment. So I can just sit here and be like, thank you.
I'm the output product of.
Absolutely, absolutely. And seeing you achieve so much really makes me beam in pride. Thank you so much for taking all the encouragement and the criticism that went into this.
Definitely. And like about US, when of course when before coming here, since I'm a girl from Pakistan, I was just a bit scared about like racism or whatever things that I might suffer through. But fortunately, none of the things happened to me. And of course, there are some good things and bad things that happen to you, but they are not on that scale that they portray you. That no, girls cannot go abroad for study, or even like travel alone. So these are just, I think these are just conservative ideas, and people should just um, let their children go and explore, because when traveling is one of the things that groom you, because like now, even I don't know if I should share this, that but my roommate is from Israel, and it blows for people when I tell them, they're because they are like, oh my god, she's from Israel and a practicing Jew. But to me, she was one of my best friends and the best American I came across. And like we were we were almost crying when she was moving out. So this is what USA has taught me, that just stop judging people by their colors, races, because you just gotta look for good people. That's it.
Yeah, and people from all over the world are very similar when because they're all people,
Yeah,
human
they are.
beings.
Yeah, being a human being comes first before your before anything, for me at least.
How about research then? How has it groomed you personally?
Research. Yeah. When I came here, I was like, of course I had this idea of pursuing research, but what kind of research? But when I was just working on smaller projects back home, but here I was given the whole task that you're gonna give us complete um, um, data collection, coding, analysis, and then final report. And they're going to write papers on the stuff that I have written. So my things were the final things that they were looking on. So it was just not some small project that we do in undergraduate. So it gave me a sense of responsibility. And of course, like meeting deadlines uh, was a mess, because they just keep expecting you more and more out of you. But one more thing I should mention, that just, and like it's been told by you as well, that don't keep saying yes to everything, because then they will be like, she has more capacity to do more stuff, so they will keep putting more stuff on you. Know your limits and know how much burden you can do, and just do some, but do good.
Yeah, so just to add on to what Samiya mentioned, as researchers, we often are now equals, right? So it doesn't matter if you are 16-year-old or if you are 60-year-old, we're all on the pursuit of knowledge. So now that I make this equal analogy, we also need to know our personal limitations. For example, if you're just coming from a different country or a different education system, you need some time to first merge into what's being done here. So you need to take a step back and say, okay, let me first adjust. Then you get back into pace and you start doing research. But if you're being expected to work 20 hours a day, which can happen sometimes in research because you are at well, sometimes at a deadline, sometimes you have um, it's a project crunch time, sometimes your professor is about to go on a sabbatical and you need to make things work before he or she leaves. So there are all these different things that happen within research,
Yes.
which make it very exciting, very challenging, but also sometimes very frustrating. So know where to pull the plug, know where to say no, know where to say, okay, I'm already working on 4 different projects. Can I please hold this off for a while?
Yeah.
So a lot of people forget that mental sanity is of prime importance in research, and research can sometimes take a toll on that. So that needs to be taken care of, right? Your own mental capacities, your own mental sanities need to be really pampered through as you are a researcher. And I think you got a little bit of taste of that as
Yeah,
well.
I totally agree. Like in the beginning, I was like, I gotta impress everyone, but later you know that you just have to arrange your timetables according to other people, because they are going on vacations. You have to submit the report earlier. So I know it's very frustrating at times.
Right, in research, like you previously mentioned, that you are more or less on your own. कोई आपको spoon feed नहीं करेगा. So you need to really self-discipline yourself and just move on and look for a support system around you, which can be friends, family, people, roommates, of course. A lot of people are very willing to support, which is be like willing to reach out as well. Thoda sa bleak ho gayi conversation because we're like, no, the research is depressing. So I want to maybe bring some of the fun that we have in research and in academia to light as well. So how was it when you were in MDI? Were there people excited about what you were doing? Were there people excited about knowing that, oh, you come from Pakistan? Were there people who were just curious about that as well?
In the beginning, people were like, "Oh, you're from Pakistan." So, of course, like we know that people don't have the clear idea of what the country is about, so they are just confused that like, okay, so you're representing your country and like you look educated. I've heard words like you look educated, you know English, and
Yeah, oh my God, that's so hilarious because I hear that every time. How do you know English?
yeah.
What? That's
So-
an official language of my country, people.
So you're here, and are there just wars going behind in your country? And you're just like, no, this is you have totally wrong image about my country. And once they start working with you, they see no difference in you and a German student sitting right next to you, and you are equally talented, or maybe more sometimes. Let me brag myself. So they are like, after a few weeks, they're like, you just don't represent yourself. Once you are in a foreign country, you represent your country, the place you're coming from. And I'm glad that I helped change their mindset regarding Pakistan.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree with that. There's a lot of misconception that comes when people, so that's why I often encourage younger girls to travel, to achieve things, because we are so talented. Okay, hands down, Pakistani people are very resilient, very talented, and I realize that a lot of our difficulties have a part to play in that, because all the things that we have to go through in our lives do make us stronger. But the rest of the world needs to see that as well. We really do need to showcase how extremely talented our young women are, how extremely talented our young men are. Um, and I think we need to, as a country, we need to really pull up our A game and show um, who we actually are. I don't want to say show a positive image, because I feel like when you say positive image, you're saying that, oh, don't talk about the things that are going wrong in your country. No, please do that. See, that is what I'm going into lecture mode here.
Be critical,
But that is what Azadi means, right? You have the freedom to stand up for the things that aren't up to your expectations and aren't what should be in a free country. So this is where like this flag symbolifies as well that I will always stand up for things that are going on wrong, but I am also an alambardar for
you should
better Pakistan, and I am just that talented. So, and we are, right? Okay, Samiya, just to wrap this entire conversation off, tell me what next? What happens next? Now you have a very good experience in engineering as a whole. You also have extracurricular experience with managing a lot of societies and student clubs in NUST, PNEC. You've been an integral part of Women Engineers Pakistan, so you've had that experience of creating a network and growing from it. And now you have another feather in your hat, which is a research internship at State University of New York, with having worked with a global team as well. So that really broadens your portfolio. So what happens now? What do you have in mind? What's next?
I'm not like I haven't planned a lot, but for me, like now I know that R&D is my thing, and after doing this research, I come to a point that it's just not research. Within research, there's so many different things that you can do. You don't, if you don't like writing reports or like the texting, you could be the coder of the research, or you could be the data collector of the research. So I think like research has given me a platform that I would like to explore ahead, or be it in job sector or graduate studies. So this is the plan for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to help any girl. If anybody wants a guy or girl, just let's make it. Let's do this. Like, why we are so talented, and I see so many people within this doing the same thing, and I know that my fellows back home can do this better than people here. So I encourage everyone, and like if you guys have any personal questions, any questions regarding application, like coming here, visa issues, money transfer, how to pack your bag, anything. Because like once you're traveling in like America is a total culture shock once you're here. So I could totally understand what kind of issues anyone can have. I'm there, and you can openly ask me any questions that you have, and I'll be more than glad to help you guys.
Thank you so much, Samiya. That was absolutely very generous of you. Thank you so much to everyone who turned up. Thank you so much for the very appreciative comments that we saw pop up through the webinar. And just going to quickly summarize what we talked about. Samiya began her engineering because she had a role model in her life, the presence of her father, who did encourage her to step into this as well. So as I always mention, I would like to reiterate that bring in relatable, relative role models. I cannot stress enough on the importance of how much of an impact the image of a strong woman, strong Pakistani woman, would have on young Pakistani girls. Bring that image back. Present relatable role models, please. Secondly, Samiya mentioned her learning from extracurricular activities within her university back home. To every young person listening there is merit in being involved in things other than like streamlined education. This is also real-time education. Please be involved in a lot of different clubs and societies. Please get your hands dirty, get into things. um, it's fine, it's okay. As an undergrad, you do have time on your hands. As an undergrad, you have not yet stepped into managing a family, you have not yet stepped into managing a 9 to 5 job. You have time. This is the prime time when you can learn, and these are actually the skills that you're going to use throughout your life: managing people, managing money, managing logistics, uh, getting discipline within yourselves.
And I think I forgot to mention that as long as you have a 3 plus GPA, you're good to go. It's just don't listen to people, don't look to 4 GPA people and be like, I cannot do things. You can do everything. Even there's some university that take even GPAs below 3. So you just gotta find the right track. As long as you have a 3 plus GPA and some skill set is really important. You should have hands on some softwares, uh, either it's coding or any other technical software. If you're good at circuit designing, make this your stronger part and then apply to labs that are regarding this. So just be relevant and have some skills with a minimum 3 GPA and you're good to go.
Yeah, to add to that point, किसी एक चीज में अच्छे होना चाहिए आपको. अगर आप हर चीज में ठप हैं तो फिर कोई फायदा नहीं है. अगर आप सिर्फ बातें बना सकते हैं, खैर नहीं, वो भी that is also a skill, by the way. But
this is also one of my skills, ladies and gentlemen.
but yeah, you need to be really good at something to move forward. Whether it's academics, whether it's a different skill set, just be really good at it. Don't do things half-heartedly.
This is like हमें ये information पता नहीं होती. Like I said, मुझसे कहा गया that what exactly you want to do when you are here. They want, like, I was supposed to decide my research topic by myself. Like they were like, these are the projects. what out of these projects and what within the project you can help us with. So you have to be that relevant. You cannot just be like, I want to go to power sector and work in R&D. No, this is not happening. What in power sector and like within R&D, which exact project you can help them with. So you have to do some research before you're going for research.
Absolutely, absolutely. Take it as a crash course in research. When you, one thing that Samiya mentioned earlier on that I really like, look into what the lab is doing, look into what are the missing links in their research, and try to fit yourself in there. Read between the lines, look up the professor's background before you approach them. And I would want that. If I am your professor, I would really want that someone to actually look into what I do, to understand what I do, even if not completely, but to figure out how they can be relevant to me. Why else would I want to hire them as my PhD researcher or research intern, right? With that, thank you so much to everyone who joined in. Samiya, are there any like ending points you would like to give?
I just wanted to thank you guys for joining this webinar. And again, if you guys have any questions that later on you are confused about either deciding what you're good at, because sometimes people assume that they are good with coding and everything. They know it all, but once you start digging up to them, they are not good at most of the things. So I can also help you decide that what you should look for. And like just don't be like, if you are looking at me, I'm good with research, maybe you are good with some other things that I'm not. So you gotta help yourself before someone else can. So this is that.
Perfect. With that, thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. If you do have any questions or concerns, please do step in and type a comment here. Or if you don't want like a public comment, you can always reach out to us on our website at www.womenengineers.pk. And if you go to contact, then you can directly reach me and my co-founder as well. And our entire WEP team is within your reach. Please do reach out to us. Please do let us know if you have any suggestions or comments. Please enjoy the Independence Day today responsibly. Me too, me too. We absolutely miss Karachi right now.
Yeah.
But please enjoy responsibly. Pakistan Zindabad. Khuda
Pakistan
Hafiz.
Zindabad.